Looks better.
Okay,
That
I
looks
see the
more-
marble.
Fantastic.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yay!
All right, well, thanks for coming back. This is now the Big Easy Christmas Table Runner Part 2. Our reindeer had a pause. Prancer broke the computer.
Oh, Prancer. So we're back. Thanks
So
for
we're
coming back.
All right, and so we have now done a little bit more sewing on it, so we'll carry on.
So we finished a corner up there, and Sandy sewed down the side.
Yep.
So now we just have
One more set of
this chunk
angles.
to do.
All right. Well, that's good. So on that note, let me tell them another joke.
All right,
just to
Sandy.
keep them going. I'm hoping
I'll
you're
start
back.
folding.
Come
It looks
back,
like
everybody.
we have 2 of our friends back.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Well, and I'm really sorry that kind of botched up there. All right. So what do you call Santa when he's wearing earmuffs?
What do you call them?
Anything you like, because he can't hear you.
Good one, Sandy.
Yes, not just the best. Okay.
All right.
All right. So we're ready to sew another corner. Sweet. Here we go back again. All right. And we're starting off right there. Okay. All right. You little lovey thingy. Okay. Right on the edge. We're starting right on the edge. Press our foot down. And here we go, Miss Chelsea. Ooh, get the pin out before I run over it.
Yep, don't run over that.
Okay, and I'm going to just at this moment assume that we are doing these all perfectly correct. And we're just going to continue to zoom around all
Me
our
too.
edges.
We'll find out in a minute if we didn't.
Yeah, we'll find out later. And I tell you, that's why we have seam rippers.
Don't worry, I still have it handy.
Yep, she's got my back.
Well,
All right.
at this point, it would be me that did it. Because I did the folding.
It's all very well done.
We're
We
doing
can-
great.
And we can fudgesicle anything.
Yes, we can.
All right, here it comes back again, Chels.
Thank you, Sandy.
Okay, oop, I'm sitting on the binding. Ah! I
Oh,
rolled over the binding with the chair. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if anything could go wrong, it is today. And so today is oh dear. You'd think it was Friday the 13th, but it's not.
it's not. It's Wednesday.
It's Wacky Wednesday.
All right, we're just going to get our fold up here.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to readjust my chair now that I ran over all the binding. Okay. Okay.
Sandy, we only have 1 corner left after this.
Oh, that's fabulous.
All right.
All
I have ours
right.
pinned.
That looks beautiful. Let's
And I
get that.
Don't think my antlers were in the way.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's get going here. Okay, we're setting it down right on that 1/4-inch corner.
Our friend Vicky has joined us this
Oh,
morning.
thanks, Vicky. Thanks for coming back, everybody. We appreciate the fact that people are with us. Okay, here we go. One more corner. All right, leading the way. Okay.
You almost have enough taken up that you potentially won't run over the binding.
Yeah, I won't run my stool over the binding. You're right, Chelsea. I think that would be hilarious. There's some days when things always go wrong, and maybe this is that one of those days. So
I find when those days happen, sometimes it's good to just have a chuckle.
yeah, you just gotta have a laugh.
Which I think we need another joke.
Okay, we need another joke. You tell me, Beebs. Let's go.
All right. What do reindeer say before telling a joke?
Oh, I don't know, Chelsea. What do they say before telling a joke?
This one will slay you.
Very good. Well, what else would reindeer talk about, right? All right, there we go. One more corner. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody. And so we talked about our social sewing. Something else dealing with Christmas that's coming up here at the store at my sewing room is on Friday, November 1st, Chelsea. Yeah, so, that's a great time to have some fun. So I was looking at the registration, and I was noticing, Chelsea, that it was down for 20. I've got 17 people already.
What?
Yeah. So we
That's insane.
we only have a few spots left. So that is a lot of fun. It's Friday the 1st. It's a 1-day one. Oops, I hit it too soon. Stop. Okay. I slid over, ran off the thing, fell off my chair. Okay.
You're doing great, Sandy.
Okay.
Denise joined us this morning.
Oh, hi, Denise. How are
Good
you?
morning,
Is that
Denise.
Miss B?
Yep,
The
Denise
divine Miss
B.
B? All right, here we go. She's probably saying, what are you crazies doing?
You know what I didn't do was give you a stop point, Sandy.
Okay, so...
Would you like to throw one in?
Sure.
I always need a stop point, otherwise I just keep going.
I'm going to give us to a stop point like this because we need quite a bit of room to maneuver, because Chelsea showed us how to do it yesterday, and the more room we have to overlap these two to make that 45 join, a 45 degree join I should say, then that is perfect. Okay, so we'll just do our last straight one, and then Chelsea's going to show us her cute trick again, just to confirm that we know how to finish off the binding so it looks endless.
I'm not sure it'll go as well as yesterday, but we'll try.
We'll try. It's like a Gordian knot. You can't see where it stops and you can't see where it ends. It's just so beautiful. All right, we're getting up to my stop line here, and then I'm just going to tack a couple stitches on because when we pull on it a little bit, I don't want it to come apart. Okay, there, we have done what we did yesterday, and that's put our binding on. Now we're going to come to the center and we are going to match up our ends. And then we will have it all finished that way. And then we'll show you how we're going to machine bind the front.
Alrighty.
I laugh.
So, get that nice and flat to work with. Nice flat area. And first, we are going to kind of figure out where the center-ish of this one is. And we'll draw a line. Because we're attached here. So I want a nice tail. I'm going to draw it here. And we'll probably cut it over here. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, sounds good. Just as long as you got enough to manipulate the band.
It'll work great. Okay. We'll see what happens. If it'll be that much, I think it'll be okay.
I think we'll be all right.
All right. Or maybe I should go over here. Actually, I'm going to go over here. I changed my mind.
She changes her mind, which is okay because we're going to cut that part off anyways.
You're not going to see that line.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's scissors. It's like the doctor and the nurse. Scissor. Pen, ruler, chop. Okay, get rid of that extra.
All right.
Now, and I'll just remind Chelsea that I made my binding 2.5 inches, so that's going to be our overlap, isn't it, Chelsea?
It sure is. Thank you for the reminder, Sandy. So I'm just going to mark where the end of this piece is. And that's just so I can see it and I don't have to guess while I'm doing this because, guessing makes it trickier.
It does.
And now from this line, I'm going to mark a line 2.5 inches over.
Yes, because that's the width. And if you made your binding more than 2.5 inches, you do that length. Or if you made it smaller, you would use that length. So whatever the width of your binding is, that's what we're going to use to do our trimming on our loose ends.
So now we have a 2.5 inch overlap here. And I'm going to move this away from my other binding because I don't want to accidentally cut it.
We can always 45 degree more on. It's not a problem, but it would be great to avoid it. Especially on a day like today, Chelsea.
All right, next up, we need our pins.
Okay.
And this is my favorite. I'm just going to split these. And this one, I'm going to flip up. And this one, I'm going to flip down. And then I'm going to rotate this one.
Isn't that sweet? Up, down, rotate.
Yeah, so I always try and do the same one the same way. So I don't twist. And then we twist.
Okay.
And generally, I don't get them backwards, but I've definitely done it.
We get them on the first go, we're hoping. You did a marvelous job yesterday.
Oh, thank you, Sandy.
Yeah. And as Lynn Zed said, that was a great tip for her. So that's beautiful.
So now I'm just going to mush my pieces around until they were nice and straight together. We're going to jab some pins in there. And I am going to put my pins in what do you call it, on the bias,
On the
down the
bias.
diagonal of it.
Which is where I'm going to sew.
That's where Sandy's going to sew. And that'll keep it nice and flat for her while she's trying to sew this. Because you can see I had to bunch up the center of the quilt in order to get to here. And our line we're going to draw is going to go from here to here. And helpful little tip is to draw a line where your little end is that you can't see.
Good.
Right where that is.
Very good.
And I'm going to draw a line diagonally now. I can get over those pins.
They're kind of sticky, aren't they? Those stick pins.
They are. Draw our little line. Beep, beep.
All right.
And Sandy's going to sew right on top of that line. And then we'll check where we're at before we cut.
Okay, sounds marvelous. Okay, here we go back to the big machine. We're going to sew on that diagonal. Oh, at least I'm not running over any more binding. So that's good.
That's nice.
Yeah. All right, so let's line this up into our machine and get that right on the needle point. Okay, and let's put our presser foot down. Hold that in place. Are we ready? Let's take a couple stitches just to get us going, but not enough to run over the pin. Ta-da!
Yeah, these are pins that might break our needle. Or bend the pin.
Or
bend
bend
our
the pin.
machine.
Or, yeah, jam in the machine. And, oh, I missed the line a little bit.
We want none of those things to happen.
Okay, we're going to keep going.
We can probably make it work, Sandy.
Okay. She's such a positive creature. I love it. Okay, there we go. I made the 45. Let's see if it worked. There it is. There's the 45. It's a little off, but I never worry. Maybe I might have to do it again, but we'll see.
Let's see what happens. We will not worry about it until
after. Yes. And because Chelsea can make miracles on my binding. That's looking pretty good, Chelsea.
I think we're good, Sandy.
I think we're good. Okay, good.
So now that we've checked it, we're happy with it, everything looks good to me, I'm going to go in and cut off our extra.
Perfect, because we don't really need it.
Grab my little scissors. I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch away from our little line here. Basically cutting off these two little tails. Don't cut off the other side.
Yeah.
Or you detach your binding and you got to sew more on.
Yep, and then you're going to have lots of 45s to practice. All right, perfect. I'll finish off that, and then we're going to just, I think because of the time it's taking, we'll start on a corner and work our way down a side so you can see how we do a corner and some of the machine binding, and then you will be happy.
Okay. Just going to give you a couple pins here, Sandy.
Okay, it sounds marvelous. The trick to everything is pinning. Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes skipping pins is fun too.
Yeah.
Depends on the mood I'm in.
How much fun you want to actually have.
Some days I like just
days.
being a troublemaker.
Ooh,
And
that's
then I
always fun
skip
too.
the pins.
Skip the pins. Let's just wing it, eh? All right, here we go. The last little bit of this binding. I'm starting over the stitch that I had there before just to make sure everything's continuous. And we'll pull out the pins as we go. And there goes that lovely 45 under my needle. We're coming up to the middle pin. All right, we're almost home free.
Sandy, I'm not going to lie. This is the most success I've had with binding repeatedly in
repeatedly.
a long time.
Well, I have to say you were marvelous. You did a great job. I'm just going to back sit just a bit there.
It worked really well this time. I'm very pleased with it.
I think it's just, yeah, it was great. So there it is. We've put all now, a very long line of stitching. We'll give it back to Chelsea, and we're going to do one corner and part of a side of the machine binding so you can see how we do it. Miss Anne reminded me that we have binding videos on our Facebook and YouTube.
Do.
So if you're looking for more information, they are there for you. And I know that I did some wacky ones earlier in the year on round bias binding. And I know I did a square binding. This is our angle binding, but I think it's pretty much the same.
It's pretty close. So we're going to get our clover clips out.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to wrap my binding around, not too tight, but making sure I cover that stitching.
Right.
Because we, of course, have that red stitching showing everywhere, and we don't want to see that.
No.
So I'm going to, I like starting on my straight sides.
Okay. This looks very interesting. All right, so while we're doing that, I just want to mention something else that's coming up in October, which is a lot of fun. We are having our launch party on October 19th. The first one is the EV1. It starts at 10:30 in the morning, goes till noon. It's $5. And there's going to be cake and coffee.
Hey!
Yeah, cake and coffee, event pricing, prize items. So, it could be a lot of fun. So that's if you want to see the new Avenir, the Brother Avenir. That one's in the morning. How you doing, Chelsea?
All right.
Okay.
That looks pretty good.
Okay.
So to get here, I folded my right side up and then brought my left side. And to make these corners look nice, may I borrow that stiletto I saw you have, Sandy? You can get a stiletto in here. And that can help you kind of maneuver everything to get it kind of laying nice. And then you can kind of fiddle with it until it lays in your desired
Position.
shape.
Perfect.
Now, to make it a little bit easier for Sandy when she comes around this corner, I'm going to toss a pin in.
Okay.
Because these clover clips are pretty thick, and I find they can kind of get in the way.
Okay. Sounds good, Chelsea.
So that's kind of how I did that corner. Tucked it in there. I'll just come around and get this corner.
This is really cool.
So I'll tuck that like that.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of get my finger in there. Make that nice and flat. You don't want that bumpy. If it's bumpy, it's going to not look great. Fold that nice and flat. And bring this back. And then we could use the stiletto, or sometimes I use my fingers. Kind of depends on the mood. And then we just go until
really
our corner looks good.
Okay.
And if you'd like, you could get some basting glue in here. That'll help. And what Sandy's going to do, because we like making it easy in case we have an accident, we're going to run a basting stitch through here.
Okay.
So Sandy's going to switch us over to a basting stitch on her machine.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep fiddling with this.
Do you think that's number 8? It looks big and big long ones. I think that's
it might be an 8.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just using my stiletto. Just going until I'm happy with that corner. This one's a little trickier, just because of the way it doesn't have as much fabric in it. So I am actually going to jam 2 pins into this corner. One on that side while I'm holding it, and one on this side.
Okay.
All right.
All right, she's trusting me. Here we go.
And then Sandy's going to run a basting stitch around, maybe about 1/8 of an inch away.
Okay.
And then that'll really make it look how we're going to sew it after.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to send this over to my friend Sandy.
Okay, thanks, Chelsea. All right, and I'm going to give it my best 8/4 of an inch. Okay, which is, I think, that little line right there on my machine. I think that's, let me use these scissors for a second. I think that is my 8th line right there. And then, and if I use that from where my needle position is, I think that's an 1/8 to that. Okay, here we go. And hopefully I have the big basting stitch on. Oh, it's looking big. It's looking good, Chelsea.
So Sandy was saying when she does her machine binding, sometimes it winds up a little curvy. So this is a really good way to test what it's going to look like without having to do a lot of work after.
Yeah.
So we can stitch this on with our basting stitch, and then we could go through with a regular stitch after to secure it.
This is probably a good idea, Chelsea.
And then
if
when
we're
you
going
get to the
slowly-
ditch between the 2 folds, then that's where you'll pivot.
Okay, I'm in the ditch where the 2 things are pivoting.
That should land you roughly 1/8 of an inch away from the edge.
Oh, turning sweet. Looking good. All right.
And if it's not a perfect eighth, you could always ease into an eighth.
Yeah, we will ease around that, ease on down.
Like the big
Okay.
easy, right?
Yeah, the big easy, we're easing. Chelsea, it's looking quite good. This is very, very technical.
This is a good way to practice straight stitches.
I suppose.
And if you get your stiletto in there, that can
Yeah.
help. Oh,
I'm
I
right
still
at-
have it.
That's okay. I got a pin. I
Perfect.
have my pin. Okay.
Pin or stiletto,
Going to
whatever makes
now
you happy.
Pivot and pull that pin so I don't run over it, and we're going to go again. All right. I think it's looking good, Chelsea. I'm just going to finish where you got us pinned to, and then we can show. Okay.
It's looking really good, Sandy.
Okay. I think we'll stop right there.
So this is just with our basting
Just the
stitch.
basting stitch. You
Nice
see, it's a
long
big
stitch.
long stitch in there.
That looks pretty good,
You can
Sandy.
barely see it too because it's a
Yeah.
thing. So let's turn it over and see the back side. So that's where it will run, and you'll see that it is in red, so it matches up with the back, and then it's green in the front. Oh, Chelsea, I'm so excited. I think it turned out really nice. Here, Chelsea, have a look.
Oh, that looks really good, Sandy. That looks
Alright.
really good. So now what Sandy could do after is we could go through with our shorter stitch length, and we could stitch that all down. And the best part is it's already secured down for us, so we're not going to have to worry about moving clover clips or pins. And say we made this corner and we turned this corner and we didn't like how it turned out, we could pick out here to here, fix that corner, and just rebase that chunk.
That is beautiful. Well, I have to say, Chelsea, that was a lot of fun.
So Sandy, how do you feel about machine binding now?
Actually, that's not bad. I really think the tricks that you just taught me were really good. So matching thread is very important.
I love matching thread with machine binding.
Lots of pinning.
Yep.
And then the basting stitch to hold it down. So then when I do the tighter stitch, it will be there. And then I just pick out the binding stitch.
Yep.
I love it, Chelsea. I think it turned out great.
I think you did a great job.
I had a great assistant.
Maybe I've converted Sandy to machine binding.
We just might.
It might be faster, Sandy.
It might be faster. And
Think
it
about all the
definitely-
projects you could finish.
Yes, because Christmas is only 98 days.
Shh! Stop it! Stop it!
All right, before we sign up,
Stressing me out.
I have one more thing just to remind us about October 19th, as well as the Avenir launch party, the EV1.
Yep.
We also have the Print Moda and the Sublimation Printing launch party as well. That takes place in the afternoon from 1 to 3:30. It's $15 plus tax. So what do you get when you go to that one, Chelsea?
Oh, there's gonna be a make and take
Ooh, I like
for the first 15 people.
Yeah, so get your name in.
Get your name in quick.
Quick, because that will fill up. And Chelsea's working on a really cool design, I think. Which
I'm working on a fun project that I hope everyone loves.
Yep, I think
For that,
we won't.
I'm excited
We're not
about
going to surprise. We're not going to tell the surprise.
we're not going to
No.
spoil it, so
Nope.
it's going to be a surprise.
Yep.
But it will be useful on
Yep.
your trips to the fabric store.
I think that's very important for us when we go traveling about to our store, My Sewing Room, and other ones that you might frequent as well. And then you've got a tool with you when you go. That sounds marvelous. All right, so if you're interested in any of those things we mentioned, social sewing, Kimberbell Gingerbread Christmas, or the launch parties, give us a call, visit us, send us in an order online. We'd be more than happy to get you registered, and so you can enjoy your day with us. And I would just like to say thank you to people who came back after our first little incident.
Yes, if you missed our first one, it happened just before this one.
Yeah.
Might have had a little bit of computer difficulties.
Yes.
Because Prancer came in.
Prancer did a little dance. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Prancer
Prancer.
and Dancer. Yep.
Prancer and Dancer
yeah.
had a moment.
They did.
And so this video is in 2 parts.
Yep.
And in our first part, we went over how to fold your weird angles.
I think that's very important because, we always like just, things that are square and rectangular are all really nice, but sometimes you want to have corners, angles. I think that would be fun. So tomorrow we're going to tackle bias binding. So that's for your other kinds of curves and waves and round things. So
Yep. So we're going to tackle how to make bias binding out of a fat quarter.
I can't wait.
In a speedy way with very little seams.
Yep. I think that'll be awesome.
I've done it a couple times, and I know a couple of our customers have done it as well. Carol.
Yeah, okay, sweet.
I know Carol's done it a few times, so we're going to be going over that again tomorrow because who doesn't love bias binding?
We need to find out how to do this.
Yes.
It's a question we're asked on the floor all the time, so this is going to be really a lot of fun.
Yep, we're going to do it in a nice, easy way. And I think it creates 4 yards of bias binding, I believe. I think that's the number.
You are incredible.
I think.
I can't wait for this
Out of a
magic
fat
trick.
quarter. I think it's 4 yards.
Fat quarter.
Maybe it's less. Maybe it's more.
Okay.
Who knows?
Who
We'll have
knows?
to Google
We're
it.
going to find out
Or
tomorrow.
we'll measure it.
We'll measure it when we're done.
Measure it.
I like it. Well, thanks, Chelsea.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our Big Easy Christmas.